Do you remember when the world loved the fairy tale? Do you remember before the interviews went off the rails? Wedding bells in Windsor, crowds lined every street. People thought the future would be history complete. Then the palace whispers started turning loud. Next thing, Oprah sitting there as tears fell to the ground. Every headline spinning, every channel breaking news. Family drama worldwide from California views. Do you remember when they said they'd walk away? Do you remember? But somehow still had more to say. Do you remember the Oprah conversation? Do you remember the Netflix revelation? Do you remember the book called Spare? Every chapter throwing secrets like the whole world wasn't there. Private jets and podcasts, documentary scenes, talking about the palace life on every streaming screen. Hollywood connections, Montecito lights, but every royal headline turns into another fight. Brother against brother, father under fire. Every public statement adding more fuel to the fire. Now the public's asking questions. What happened to the plan? Wanted peace and quiet, but cameras follow every strand. From red carpets to speeches, to tell all TV nights. The privacy tour keeps rolling under flashing paparazzi lights. Do you remember the curtsy on Netflix? Do you remember the stories from Spare? Do you remember every family secret suddenly floating everywhere? Do you remember when loyalty mattered? Do you remember before the family shattered? Do you remember when silence had grace? Now every week another headline, another public chase. Do you remember how the story used to be? Now every royal moment feels like reality TV.
Hello, everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you so much for being here today. Well, everyone, I'm telling you, the king has finally had it. He has finally had it. I'm going to tell you what's been going on. And if I were Harry's parent, I would have had it too. Okay, because this man has seriously lost his ever-loving mind. It's ridiculous. Let's get into it. Okay, so King Charles may finally be reaching his breaking point with Prince Harry, and according to insiders, all is coming from one person. Yes, it's coming from Meghan Markle. We have known this because behind palace walls, reports now claim that Charles is deeply frustrated that Harry keeps coming to the royal family with demands on behalf of Meghan. And I'm telling you, Meghan is doing this to be difficult because she doesn't want to go. She doesn't want to go. But this is why the king is frustrated now with Harry. Now, an insider is saying that the king believes that Harry has completely lost control of the relationship. And we have already known this, okay? He really has. Because for years, the public narrative has always been very simple. Harry left the royal family for love. But according to new insider claims, King Charles reportedly sees something very different happening behind the scenes. And if these reports are true, the king may finally be confronting Harry directly about Meghan's influence over his life. And this is exactly the intervention that Harry needs. because what was supposed to be a tentative truce between Harry and the monarchy is apparently already falling apart. So we know about the summer invitation, right? So according to reports, the palace insiders say that King Charles was actually open to welcoming Harry and Meghan and the children back to the UK for the summer. Now that alone shocked the royal watchers. Like, we were all like, despite everything that has happened with the Netflix documentary Spare, all these things, Oprah, years of public attacks on the monarchy, all of these things, many people believed that the relationship was completely beyond repair. But apparently, King Charles was willing to try, okay? Because I think there's this inner guilt that he feels about what Harry and his brother William had to go through around the death of Diana and the divorce and all of that. And at least until the demands started coming in, the king was ready to, okay, let's work this out. But here's where the story gets really complicated with Meghan's demands. Okay, because according to this insider, there are reports that are saying that as soon as Harry was informed that the Sussexes would be welcomed this summer, he allegedly returned, Harry did, with all of these demands on behalf of Meghan. And I did a story on it talking about all these things that Meghan wanted. And we know why she's doing it. So this palace aide is reportedly saying that they're not happy with this counter issue that Harry keeps coming with, because this insider is claiming that Harry had insisted that they were his own ideas for his family. But we know nobody believes that. We know that it's all coming from Meghan. Now, instead, according to reports, staff members viewed it as another example of Meghan being the one who was controlling everything and is being very manipulative. Now, whether that's fair or not, that is the narrative reportedly that is circulating behind palace walls. And apparently Charles noticed it too. But here is the part that reportedly frustrated the king the most. It's not that Meghan is strong-willed. It's that Charles allegedly believes that Harry has stopped pushing back against her completely. And this is where Charles's real frustration sets in, because according to insiders, Charles actually understands why Harry was attracted to Meghan. After all, Charles himself is married to a very strong woman, Queen Camilla. So the issue reportedly isn't Meghan having influence per se. The issue is balance. The issue are claims that Charles believes that Harry has a strong backbone when dealing with his family, but he doesn't have a strong backbone when dealing with Meghan. Okay? And that's what reportedly irritates the king. Because according to this source, Charles allegedly told Harry that he needs to start showing Meghan the same stubbornness and resistance he has shown the royal family for years. Because the bigger royal problem that we have here is that this story taps into a narrative that has followed Harry ever since Megxit. Now, critics are saying that the old Harry, the rebellious prince who challenged palace advisors, fought with the press, he argued with his family members, but suddenly he's become completely different once Meghan entered the picture. Kind of like some soft ice cream. He he can't hold up to what it is that he needs to face head on. And that is what has fueled years of speculation that Meghan is the dominant force in the relationship. Now, supporters of Meghan, they would say that sexist, is unfair. Well, critics say the pattern is impossible to ignore. Come on now. The whole reason why they left California was because of Meghan. But Harry wants us to believe it was his idea. And we know that is simply not true. Either way, it's clearly becoming a major issue inside the monarchy. Now, here is what Charles's warning is. And according to an insider, Charles finally laid it out for Harry directly. The source claims that the king warned him that unless changes are made, this fragile truce between Harry and the royal family will collapse before it has even begun. Now that is huge, because for the first time, reports are suggesting that Charles may no longer simply may be the blame of the situation, but may actually blame Harry himself for allowing things to spiral this far. Because we all remember the private meeting that he had. Now, despite all of the tension, Harry and Charles did reportedly meet privately, we know, back in 2025. And the details of that conversation, we know, have never been released publicly. And honestly, that is the mystery that only fuels even more speculation. Was Charles trying to repair the relationship? Was he confronting Harry? Or was this the moment that the king finally told his son the truth nobody else was willing to say? Okay? Because at the center of all of this is one painful question. Did Prince Harry leave the monarchy for freedom, or did he simply trade one powerful institution for another powerful institution? Because according to these reports, King Charles may believe Harry has become tougher with his own family than he is with Meghan herself. And if that's truly how the king feels, then reconciliation may still be very, 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 very far, 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 far away, folks. Okay? Because I know how this story is going to end. And it does not look good for Harry. Let me tell you, it does not look good for Harry. And the sooner he gets a backbone and is able to confront this woman, the sooner he can get his life back. Because I'm telling you, this is not going to end well for Harry. The more he kowtows to Meghan, the more he is going to suffer in the end. Don't say I didn't tell you. Don't say I didn't tell you. All right, everyone. That's all I got for this story. And yes, I shall see you all in my next video. Cheerio.